The only way for me to know what you're thinking is if you tell me. I can't read minds.
Facts.
Nobody can read minds. That's the only way for us to be able to, know those things, the thoughts that we're having, is if we talk it out. If we don't talk it out with our partners, we're not going to get anywhere. Welcome back to the Is There More podcast. I am your host, Lefty Luciano.
What's going on? It's your co-host, Farrakhan, aka Khan.
And we're back with another episode. First off, let me start. How you been?
I'm feeling good, bro. You already know how it is. Definitely. How you feel?
I'm feeling good. I mean, it's your first time on here. You was on the sports edition episode, but now you back from Boston, so you about to be, you know what I mean, a resident here on the podcast. Let the Is There More podcast people get to know you a little bit, know what you're about, know where you're from.
Yeah, sure. I mean, now it's time to start talking about some real stuff. You know what I mean? We did the sports episodes. Now it's time to start trying to shift the culture, to be honest with you.
Absolutely. On the last episode, if y'all was paying attention, checked it out. We talked about gender roles. Dushan, he was on the episode. We kind of touched on different gender roles, men, different problems that, I feel like we experiencing in our culture, right, when it comes to the relationship dynamic. But we kind of just scratched the surface on that. I kind of want to dig a little deeper into it on this episode. So, without further ado, I think we should talk about like the problems with the modern day relationship. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know, if you go on like social media, you kind of see like a lot of women getting on there, bashing men. Men ain't this, men ain't that. Fellas kind of doing the same, downgrading women and stuff like that. Now, you mainly hear it in the music. You really don't see men posting that. But just the fact that they're doing it is not necessary. And it kind of put us, at war with one another for no reason when we should be together, loving our women, taking care of our women, and vice versa. The women, taking care of the man. So let me ask you, in your opinion, what do you think is some of the biggest problems that we are, some of the biggest problems with the modern day relationship?
I say, first of all, you made good points there. Definitely see that on social media. I think first, there's a lot of stuff when you first start is ungenuine. So you already got people expecting, you know what I'm saying? Like, if this person is not doing this for me, right, I'm not doing that for them or whatever. But my whole thing about it is at the end of the day, I mean, we talk all the time. If no matter who around me, if I'm cooking, you gonna eat. And that should be the way with all of us, you know what I'm saying? Whether it's women around me, whether it's my homies around me, whatever. Like, that's just normal, you know what I'm saying? So, unfortunately, for some reason, we kind of got away from that where it's like, you gotta have some type of romantic relationship to want to do anything with somebody. You know what I'm saying? Instead of just, you know what I mean? Like I said, like my cousin cooking, you know what I mean? Shay, if Shay cooking, and you there, you know what I mean? Whoever may be there, everybody gonna eat. It's not like you gotta be dealing with somebody, but for some reason we got that type of perspective where, you gotta be, having sexual, gotta be that type of thing there in order for y'all to do anything for each other. Right.
Now, where do you think that came from? Because it sounds like it's really a communication issue. Because instead of, asking, do you like this or do you want me to do this? People are just assuming that things should be a certain way, and that's not the case. So, do you think it's really just a lack of communication somewhere in that dynamic?
No, I think it's the thing that most people don't want to automatically put themselves out. You feel like you gonna take a loss. You know what I mean? So already from the jump, you already put, like for me, I put myself out a lot, but I never lower my standard. You know what I mean? So I may put myself out, and a lot of people, a perfect example, if I hold the door for you and you don't say thank you because this just happened, a lot of people are like, F it, I ain't about to hold the door for the next person type vibe. But the whole time, the next person might be the person that really say, you know what I mean, thank you, whatever it may be. Right. But a lot of people, we just keep lowering our standard. So that's why it's really hard to even get to a serious, positive, any kind of genuine relationship, because it's like, oh, well, if I did this for this person, they ain't gonna do it. F it, I ain't doing it again. The whole time, the next person might be the person that's really receptive to what you're doing. You know what I mean?
Right, but what do the last relationship have anything to do with your future relationship? Because how I look at it as everybody, you know what I mean? You should treat everybody differently. Now, if you had one bad experience, one bad relationship, I mean, that's what it was. I mean, it's at whatever happened in that relationship that caused it to fail, you're supposed to look at it, you're supposed to break that down, look at it, see, I guess, what you did wrong, what that person did wrong, learn from it, you know what I mean? Chalk it up as a lesson, and then move forward to end one relationship and then get into another relationship and say that, oh, I want this person to do this or do that before I do anything so I don't take a loss. It's kind of ludicrous because basically what it is people want you to prove to them something. So basically it's an issue, it's a mindset thing where women, I guess, for the most part, want men to prove something to them.
Correct. And that's already, but that's the thing. So that's already, you're 100% right. That already, when you gotta come in proving, if I know I already gotta come in proving,
Well,
it's already gonna throw off the genuine vibe. Because whatever I'm gonna do anyway. But if it's like, no, you gotta take me out to do this, you gotta take, the whole time, like, that's the thing.
right.
How can I put it? We kind of, it's give or take. But a lot of people just want to keep taking before they even want to give anything. You know what I'm saying? So even going back to you asked, like, why do, you're right, we're supposed to learn from the last situation, learn and apply what you've learned. You know what I mean? Don't, like I said, I'm never going to lower my standard. You know what I mean? I've had things happen.
When you say lower your standard, what you mean by that?
I'm saying, like, I'm not going to go into it and be like, yeah, I ain't taking, I'm not, like, I've been finessed, I've been this and that. You know what I'm saying? I can be honest about that. A lot of us don't want to be honest, but it's time to start being honest or whatever. So, but that's the thing. So I've been finessed, lied to, this and that. I've probably done some of it too, you know what I mean, without even knowing.
Right.
But that's saying I'm not lowering my standard. The next woman I get, I'm going to do what I feel as if I need to get her. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to lower and be like, nah, this happened in the past. I'm going to just, you know what I mean, step back. I ain't going to do nothing. Because I'm not going to get the result that I want.
Right.
Whatever, you know what I mean? Automatically, when you go into an ungenuine, you're not going to get the result that you're looking for. That's just guaranteed. That's why situations don't work.
Well, see, I think when you say going to it ungenuine, I think people don't. See, I think that all stems from lack of communication. Truth be told, I don't think people make their intentions, make people aware of their intentions from the start. Most people, like, I'll take myself. When I was younger dating, most of the time I was just getting in a relationship, you know, just to get in a relationship, just to say, hey, yo, I got a girlfriend. I got it.
Right.
Now, back then, when you know, in your early 20s, that is what it is, because you know, getting to truly understand yourself, you know, getting different experiences with women, you know, also, you know, getting different jobs and stuff like that. So you're learning things about yourself. Now, in those situations and in those relationships, some of them, you know, failed on my behalf. Some of them, you know, was, you know, truth be told, was chalked up as lack of communication because I didn't come in there with any intentions or really direction on where I wanted to take this relationship. I just found myself just doing things just because. And as you see, it becomes a problem because maybe, you know, a lot of times I hear women say, well, what we doing? Or what we about to do?
Right.
And I'll be honest, when I used to be asked that question, I used to be like, what you mean what we about to do? I mean, we date. We doing what we doing. Right. But the whole time, instead of saying, because when I hear that, I'm assuming that a woman, you know, really want to start taking things seriously, you know, trending in the direction of marriage. But instead of saying that, they rather just put it as what we doing. And then normally when they don't get the response they want from you as a man, they start acting different, start moving different. And y'all start playing those little kid games and stuff like that. So I think if we start, you know, not even acting like that, being mature and sitting down and really having a conversation with one another and being like, hey, this is what I envision for this relationship, or, you know what I mean, whatever's going on, we can together take the necessary steps to making that happen. Or on the flip side, if I ain't got no intentions on getting married with you, we don't need to be putting ourselves in a predicament to be together. Like, obviously making kids out of wedlock.
Yeah,
something like that.
Right. So I'm gonna touch on two things, right? So you said, the first thing you said was, what you say?
What, about what, lack of communication or?
Oh no, the attention part, my bad. So
Okay.
you're talking about the intentions part. The thing, to be honest, quite honest with you though, I do agree if you know what your intentions is. But the problem is, like, I ain't gonna lie, like, it's people that...
Do you think men, not to cut you off. Do you think men let women know their intentions from the beginning?
I don't know, but I don't think they truly know that's what I'm trying to say. So my thing about it is, it's times where I may talk to a chick, right? We always know, they always say, what's the first thing they say? I gotta get to know you. I've had that happen more than the times I can even count for real. Like, I gotta get to know you. The whole time it's like, I gotta get to know you too. So either they dealing with dudes that they think automatically is gonna, you know what I mean? We have such a, like I said, ungenuine type of perspective. You know what I mean? So if I take you out or whatever, I want to get to know you too. You may be pretty on the outside, you may be bad, you may be this and that. Instagram, you know what I mean? We know how it view what you see. At the end of the day though, you might sit across from a woman, you know what I mean, and have a conversation. It's like, nah, that's not it. Now some dudes still don't care. They just at the sexual level. You know what I'm saying? But dudes that's actually worth a little worth they saw or whatever.
Right.
It's, you know what I mean? I gotta get to know you too. I ain't about to just be spending money doing this and that, trying to make something happen that I know is gonna be a dead end. You know what I'm saying? But they don't hear it. I guarantee you, they probably really don't hear it. Like, I gotta get to know you too. Or they're not even expecting you to say that. So they say they got, so my thing is, sometimes I go into it, I don't know the intention because I don't know the person yet. Now, once you start dating, yeah, that's when you can have that conversation. Or like when you actually go out a couple times, y'all might be hanging out. Now you should know your intention because you clearly spend the time with this
But
person.
as a man, how long do you think that takes? I mean, because let's assume you go past the first date. All right, we in a past date, it's been a month, 2 months we're dating. Now what? Yeah, at that point in time, you should know what direction you want to take this relationship. You should know whether you want to spend the near future or whether you want to get engaged. So when do you make that known? Or when is that being brought in conversation? Like, that's what I mean. Do you think men or women are making that known? Because ultimately, to say that you don't know what you want to get out of something a month in is kind of crazy.
Well, the thing is, though, you say, the problem is, dudes, and from my perspective, I'm not saying it's true, it's not true. I'm going to say what I'm going to say because that's just how I go. But from my perspective, what I feel is if we got to be, like I said, they the ones asking us, okay, what you want, what we doing, this and that. But the whole time it's like, they're not going to say what they want from it. You know what I mean? So it's like, they'll just go with the flow one way or the other. So it's like, it's on us to kind of make the 100% decision. Like, you can't really, she gonna say she may want to be in a relationship, but she really probably not. That's what I'm saying. We had that talk all the time about, like, everybody sounds good. Are you willing to, how can I put it? Are you willing to put your dude first if you really get into a relationship? Because I can say I want to be with a chick, but that don't mean it's vice versa. And she may say she want to be with me, that don't mean she's really willing to do the things to be with me though. You know what I'm saying? So sometimes it take the intentions of what it is like, okay, we together, it's this and that. But at the same time, it's her intentions. You know what I mean? She really going, like I said, put me first type vibe.
But think about
the
what you just
situation,
said.
if I ain't gonna say me first, it's you know what I mean? It's always gonna be you first before anybody. I don't care nobody saying you first, make yourself happy, then you make, you know what I mean, your situation what it is. But, because if you ain't happy, it's irrelevant.
But see, I just listening to you make your point, I think people are moving in fear when they get together to be the first one to put themselves out there. I think
That's facts.
Right. When you're in a relationship, or when you sit down and have that conversation, I want you to be my girlfriend, I want you to be my boyfriend. You should not, once you make that commitment to somebody, you should not be moving in fear or keeping one foot in and one foot out. If you committed, you committed. Right. So at that point, you should be opening up, being open with your partner when it comes to your emotions, your feelings, your wants, your needs, and etc. So to sit back and say that whether man or woman should be investing into each other, but they didn't hear, y'all never communicated that's what y'all want for one another. you should be able to sit there and say, hey, babe, I really see us, taking this relationship, I mean, I plan on being together 3 or 4 years. So I think we need to take these steps to really show, our commitment to one another.
But so the thing is, though, I feel as if everybody think that. I mean, yesterday obviously was, Valentine's Day just passed or whatever, and you realize that, how can I put it? Everybody think that I'm saying I love you, this and that, right? But nobody truly making the 100% commitment. So I'm saying everybody buy people stuff, do this and that. Cool, do that. I'm definitely not knocking that. Like, that's love. First of all, I want to see black couples start getting together.
Right.
That's part of this. That's where we really, the ultimate goal kind of at the end. You know what I'm saying? Because, we kind of regressing. It's getting worse. We got more knowledge, but we regressing. And it's really like Instagram is really who can prove they the singlest or some shit. I don't even know, the shit getting crazy. But that's the thing. Like, you don't, like I said, you'll see chicks post, they out at dinner, this and that. Like, a whole dude is fronting all this, but yet she can't even, and it's like, I'm not the type of dude, that's not gonna work.
Right, but think about the only way for me to know what you're thinking is if you tell me. I can't read minds.
Facts.
Nobody can read minds. So that's the only way for one of us, that's the only way for us to be able to, know those things, the thoughts that we're having, is if we talk it out. If we don't talk it out with our partners, we're not going to get anywhere.
So let me ask you this though, in all the situations and all the women you've dealt with, do you feel as if when you talk it out, y'all really getting somewhere? Because I'm gonna just say this and then I want you to answer that. Do you feel as if, like I said, all the women you dealt with, are y'all getting anywhere? But I'm gonna add this. Sometimes when you talking it out, one-on-one, for whatever reason, it's just not moving the needle. I don't know why. I think a lot of times people think you're trying to attack them. They're not receptive to it. You know what I mean? So I can't tell you, really don't know why. Because like I said, we had conversations all the time and it's like, that person would really think, like, why would I tell you something why would I be here if I don't want to be here? You know what I mean? So if I'm with you and I'm telling you anything, it's truly because I want to be here. But yet you got a person thinking it's the opposite, or it's like, you trying to leave, I don't know, but.
But let me stop you. At the end of the day, you can't, the thing with communication is there's talking, you listen, comprehend, I'll say what I'm going to say. You comprehend, you listen, you comprehend it, and then you reply.
Right.
If the person can't comprehend it, that's, we can't control, we can't control it. All we can do is whatever our thoughts is, put it in a way that they can understand. The best way that they can understand it. If they choose not to, take it in, that's not on us. At the end of the day, I said what I said to you. I communicated my wants and needs, or whatever the situation is. If you didn't get it, then that's just the end all be all. But if there's a lack of communication, or if there's a disconnect in the communication, the relationship is going to fail, period.
Right,
because now you're moving in, all right, I said what I said, but they didn't get it. So now I'm just going to do what I got to do to get this relationship where I want it. But we already know that leads to playing games. And that's the part that you have to understand. If you don't talk it out, it's going to lead to playing games. Because what do we see on social media in general? And I have experienced it too, is everybody communicate their issues through social media.
Facts.
When you should be saying those same things to your partner.
Right, facts.
Because once you can bring it to social media, regardless of what the situation is, it don't matter. Because, that doesn't, what you're saying, me coming bashing my ex-girlfriend, I would never, if I went on social media and was like, I'd never trust women again. What did I gotta do with anything? That has no bearing on the next female that I date. And it definitely has no bearing on the relationship that I just ended. Because at the end of the day, I should have said what I needed to say to her. Me telling social media is just me putting out there a bad narrative or giving a bad rep to women based off of my own personal experience. Right. And truth be told, I just sound hurt instead of being able to communicate that with her.
Right. Well, I'll admit, I did that. Now, I went to social media. I don't go to social media and put, blast or nothing like that. But sometimes I mean, I think so. It depends on how you're using it. So for me, sometimes I use social media for just to put it out in the atmosphere. You know what I'm saying? That's what even part of this podcast. Like, we have so many conversations all the time. We just put it out there in the atmosphere. So sometimes I may post something because I know somebody else going through it. You know what I mean? So they'll probably read what I'm putting, and it's like, damn. Now they're not gonna tell you they going through the same things, but they see it. You know what I mean? So you know what I mean? So we may both be thinking the same thing. I'm just willing to really put it out there. So it's not really going to bash or anything like that. Because trust me, anything that I put out to social media, I already been said, and that's just factual. I'm not running to social media before I'm talking to whoever I'm referring to.
Right. But do you think everybody does that? Do you think people really honestly sit down and communicate to their partner their problems?
No, of course not. Definitely don't think everybody do that.
Why is that? Because why do you think that is? Or what do you think is? Yeah, what do you think is really holding them back?
When it comes to communication, why? I mean,
because ultimately that sounds like that's the root of a lot of our issues. So to really figure out that from the man's side and the woman's side.
Well, it's a lack of work. That's some things. So everybody, I feel like a lot of people think everything's gonna fall in their lap. So communicating and feeling some type, you know what I mean, and putting yourself out there,
right?
It's more of a quote unquote risk. It's really not no risk though. Because at the end of the day, like I said, for me, I stand on 10 toes. I literally, the only reason why I kind of can help move on, there's a couple people that, you know what I'm saying, I wish I ain't played out how I played out, but the only reason why I could kind of move on because I'm open. Right. I mean, we talk all the time. I'll call you and ask you, yo, bro, what you think about this? What it is? Like, you'll tell me, yo, bro, like you was, you know what I'm saying? We really keep it honest with each other. Right. I call you and I'll call my cousin. Now, there's other people that's out there that, you know what I mean, at some point we'll probably start connecting with, but just in general, I'll call you, like I said, I'll call him or whatever, but I already communicated with the person to begin with. You know what I mean? So I feel like the problem is...
But that's you. But even what you just said, you're able to communicate, but what about somebody that feel like they don't have nobody to communicate? It's all on them. How do they stop themselves from going in this cycle? Because it's everybody. We all had failed relationships. We all had situations where we felt like we was dead wrong.
We start talking about it though. That's what I'm saying. For men, that's what I'm saying. We already know when I posted what I posted. I had so many people say, "Who hurt you?" That's the first thing they said. Like they won't check on you. They won't check in on you to see just how you doing regular. But as soon as you post something, as soon as a man posts something that is anything, you know what I mean? What's the word? I don't know the word, but conflicting with saying something that women ain't gonna like. That's what they gonna hit you with. You know what I mean? Who hurt you? This and that. And at the end of the day, I mean, you can call it what you want to call it. It's not really. It could be hurt. It could be. It's whatever. It's not. It don't matter because it's not like I'm about to sit here and like be crying over it. But it's shit happens. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, I can admit. Okay, I've been hurt. Like, it's not that serious. It's not like I'm always in that state of being. You know what I'm saying? So I maybe in that moment I'm hurt. Like, yeah, if you do some effed up shit or something like that, like I'm gonna be hurt. It ain't nothing to run from. So I think for even men, because women, like I said, they got more. You know what I mean? In my opinion. You know what I mean? Like I said, we could get feedback on this. I feel like they got a little bit more support system. Because they friends always going to tell them they right, they this and that. Like even Drake said, in Your Mind Still, he literally said, ashamed to tell my friends how much I do for you. Because they know that you will never do the same for me. You know what I'm saying? It's like Drake saying this shit. Right. You know what I mean? So, but that's the thing. For men, we really will move that way. We really would be afraid to tell. I mean, certain stuff I've done that I just wouldn't tell you. I'm going to be honest with you. Just because... You know what I mean? But I want to do that. And and the thing is, I'm even second guessing, like, why did I do that? You know what I mean? Because I'm trying to constantly please, constantly prove this and that. And it's like, no, you guys take that step back and understand, no, you got to worry about yourself first.
I agree. You do have to worry about yourself first. But that's what I'm saying. You have to, this is the problem. I think we try to, I feel like we have to stop trying to prove a point. Right. Or prove, you know what I mean? Because, like you said, you felt as though you did certain things that you may have been ashamed of. But if you sit there and play back your relationship, or, you know what I mean, a lot of people play back their relationship, at some point in time where you say you felt ashamed, at the end of the day, whatever you do in your relationship is what you do in your relationship. So you should never feel ashamed or embarrassed to say that you did this for somebody. But I think where that shame and that that guilt and that embarrassment come in at is when you find yourself staying in a relationship longer than you need to be, which kind of ties back into your intentions. When you realize that, okay, I want to be this person I see being my wife, my fiance, or whatever the situation may be. It should be a mutual thing. Y'all both should be taking steps to make that happen.
Right.
Well, if you only feel that way, but she don't have no knowledge of it, or she do, but she's not taking the same necessary steps that you're taking, then you need to pause the relationship and be like, oh, I kind of feel like the feelings aren't mutual. So, yo, big, is there something going on? I know we talked a few months back.
But they're not. But that's the thing. You're right. But the problem is, so two things. One, they're not going to tell you that. That's where the conflict come in. That they're not going to tell you. So we know we go with the saying that actions speak louder than words. But unfortunately, if you're in a relationship with a chick, and you ask her, do she want to be with you forever? She's going to say yeah.
Okay.
Now, go ahead.
Okay. If she say yes, like you said, actions speak louder than words. So if the actions aren't backing it up, what's preventing you from saying, hey, I hear what you're saying, but you're not doing it. You know what I mean? Let's look at our actions. Let's put everything on the table. I'm doing this for you, but you're not doing anything close to what I want for you. So I hear what you're saying, and I don't know whether you're telling the truth or lying, but I don't feel right. Because you know in your heart when the feelings aren't mutual or genuine, or when you're not on the same, same type of time.
Right.
So just because they can't be honest with themselves don't mean you can't be honest with yourself and know that you're wasting your time.
Right.
And just leave it at that and walk away.
Well, that's the hard part, though. I mean, no, you're right. I definitely agree with that, but that's kind of the hard part because once you invested time, let's say you're together for a year and a half.
Okay.
Once you invested time, resources, and I'm not saying it's not both ways, it's both ways. It's hard to just be like, all right, you know what? It ain't what it, you know what I'm saying? It's not, she ain't doing or he ain't doing what I think would be reciprocated. It's time to just walk out the door. You're going to obviously keep trying to make it work. Now, that's the flaw. And I think
we not. No, because you're making excuses for it. Relationships aren't the only thing that we commit ourselves to. We commit ourselves to jobs all the time. And
if you don't like it, you leave it.
Right. Like, obviously, we're sports fans. What do they say? Even though, most people view that as you're playing a sport you love, at the end of the day, they know that it's a sport, but it's also a business.
Right.
So these players, they say it all the time. They give, they commit their lives, their body, their mind. They sacrifice time away from their family to give to these franchises.
Right.
And at the drop of a dime, the moment they don't produce to the standard that the team expect, they get cut. But they know, what do they always say? It is a business. Right. So I understand it.
Right.
So at the end of the day, I have to produce. It's the same thing in relationships. If you keep adapt that mindset and treat your relationships like that, at the end of the day, I have certain expectations for you, and vice versa. Any relationship I got, because I'm a man, my girlfriend or my girlfriend, fiance, or whatever the situation may be, she has certain expectations for me. If I don't meet those expectations, best believe she's going to move on, one way or another. Whether she keep me at our hip and do it, or completely cut me off, it's going to happen. So as men, you got to be able to do the same thing. Don't sit there and wait to play games and then be like, well, since I invested 2 or 3 years into it, I ain't leaving it. If she want to end a relationship, she won't even. That's ludicrous.
No, that's facts.
At the end of the day, I understand what you're saying, because I found myself when I was younger fall into those pressures.
Right.
Buying a woman flowers just because I know we was talking, we're dating, we're talking, so I don't want to look bad and stuff like that. But that was when we was younger. We're grown now.
Right.
It ain't no pressures to do anything. If you don't want to do it, don't do it. It's just that simple. You talking about falling into no pressures? I'm not worrying about that. We got other responsibilities. I'm not worrying about falling into no pressures of what a woman want me to do for her or not.
No, you're right. I'm not disagreeing. I think
because you gotta think about it. not to cut you off. I'm sorry, not to cut you off. It's deeper than that because you're just worrying about the ins and outs of the relationship. There's a lot of responsibilities that come with, what from the man perspective, being in a relationship or just being around a woman, period.
Facts. We talked about that all the time.
Right. As I, mentioned in the episode, in gender roles, the moment that you're with any woman, whether it's girlfriend, mom, sister, girlfriend, you have going back to the Bible, your job is, protect and provide.
Facts.
You have to protect any woman that you're with.
Facts. And we're going to do that every time.
Right. So
that's the expectation. That's the thing. It ain't even really, it ain't optional, but at the end of the day, we don't view it as optional. You know what I'm saying?
Well, yeah. Well, it's not optional to protect the woman because, at the end of the day, that's what your job is to do. Physically, we can do things that women can't. Right. So at the end of the day, it's only right. But what I was getting at is, if you're in a relationship with a woman, or if you're spending your time with a woman that can really, quite frankly, give a fuck about you. If something happened in the street, you happen to be with her, and let's say two guys walked up on her, touched her, or whatever, smacked her ass or whatever, and obviously in that situation, you ain't about to let that happen. But you jump to defend her, she mess around and let you get jumped or whatever. Let you get jumped or robbed and she stand by and don't do nothing. All because at the end of the day, she don't care what happened to you.
Right.
But as you tie back, like you said, because in your mind, you told yourself, you felt as though, I had to stay in this relationship because I invested 3 years into it, that I had to defend her. When if you would have walked away at that moment that you communicated, I don't feel like the feelings is mutual. When you had that gut, your intuition, I tell you if something ain't right. You know what I mean? So if you would have walked away from that situation back then, you wouldn't have found yourself in that situation. Not to say that you can avoid getting jumped. Obviously, that's a situation that you don't control. But you wouldn't have found yourself defending a woman that can really,
not care. Right. I mean, we had that conversation too. I mean, I think we had that conversation all the time too. On what to do in those type of situations. I mean, we'll touch on that kind of down the line or whatever, because that's a whole nother conversation for sure. It's a good, we gonna have that good conversation. But
actually, not the,
go ahead.
I think another issue is I hear a lot of people, and I don't know why many hear it from women, but men say it too when they're in their feelings. I don't need nobody. That, I don't need nobody movement.
Where that's coming from?
Yeah, where is that coming from? Because we know that's not true. Men need women, women need men. But yet, women feel the need to put that narrative out there just because they're hurt. What do you think about that? Or what do you think, why do women rather say that than rather be honest with themselves?
So this is how I feel, right? So the problem is,
because we know that's a lie, but yeah.
Yeah, no, it's a lie. But the thing about it is, everybody finessing. So if you could get fragments from everybody, then you kind of don't need one person. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So like we know chicks will take their friends out on their birthday and get bottomless mimosas.
Right.
So their friends hooking them up, treating them. They do the 10 dudes that's on their asses hitting them up in their DM. They'll post their cash app. Dudes ain't got that nerve to post their cash app on their birthday, bro. We ain't getting $1 from nobody.
So as a man, if you see your girl posting that, you're not gonna say something? Posting her cash app?
If your girl posting her cash app, no. But hell no.
Okay.
But what I'm trying to say is, at the end of the day, the problem is everybody's getting fragments of people. You know what I'm saying? So you got this dude doing this. You got this dude doing that. You got, I said your friends is taking the place. Like a lot of chicks yesterday, it's like I said, Valentine's Day, for real. If you ain't a couple, I don't even want to see you posting about Valentine's Day. But yet we really got people that's like,
No, I wouldn't take it that far. I think you can post about Valentine's Day, but see, this is what I...
No, because what I'm saying is, at the end of the day, we got women taking the place of men. But at the same time, it's not genuine. That's what I'm trying to say. So at the end of the day, what reason would a woman have to want to get with a man if she going out with her friends? Because dudes, you're not about to have 4 or 5 dudes at a table on Valentine's Day. But I guarantee if I would have went out, huh?
What, celebrating Valentine's Day?
Yeah, I mean, if you just completely forget it, Valentine's Day, y'all just go out, y'all go out. I'm saying women will make this Valentine's Day and all this other stuff. So they're just replacing the dude. So what reason do they believe they need it? But the thing about it is, obviously...
No, stop right there. If you see a woman, fellas, if you see a woman doing stuff like that, like you said, replacing a dude, making it seem like they don't need a dude to be happy for Valentine's Day. I mean, at the end of the day, I don't really think Valentine's Day means anything for it. Yeah, it's just a holiday. You know what I mean? It's just like any other holiday, St. Patrick's Day. You know what I mean? To celebrate whatever, love. Love is in the air or whatever the theme is. But fellas, if you know that you're dating a woman and you see her on Valentine's Day or any day making it seem like she don't have no man in the picture, or I said she don't need nobody or whatever, you need to take note of that and fall back. Because if you know you doing the most to keep this woman happy, but not getting no
notoriety for it,
right? Then why? What is your reason to stand? To stay around in that situation? I will fall back. I think all men should fall back. That way you don't feel yourself being played or being used or, unappreciated.
Well, that's the thing though. I mean, that's the problem though. A lot of, like I said, we understand that because I've been in both situations. I've been in a situation where...
Well, a lot of us have, and that's the problem, because a lot of people have. We see this, the same cycle being repeated year in and year out, but nobody know how to get over it, because I think everybody thinks, well, this guy doing it, so his situation ain't any better. This person doing it, so their situation ain't any better, so I think I might as well go through it, and that's not the case. You can stop and move on. I think people need that. It's okay to move on. It's okay to leave a bad relationship where it's at.
But what about before? But that's what I'm saying. It's about before you get to the point of the relationship. So like what I'm trying to say is, like, I'm the type of person for real, in my history or whatever. Not saying that it'd be like this going forward, but I'm the relationship type of dude, right? I feel like I said, we get further being together. That don't mean the person I'm with next will be the person I'm with for forever. You know what I'm saying? You got to understand and accept that. Like, that's the thing. A lot of times when we leave situations, we leave it on like a negative ass vibe. You know what I'm saying? Like, it has to be toxic as shit just to leave.
Right.
Instead of it being like, nah, like we just on two different pages. You know what I mean? Like you said, like we wanted two different things. Like somebody, like going forward, somebody asked me, yo, what's the situation? We wanted two different things. I'm not about to talk bad about nobody. Cause I ain't gonna, you know what I mean? Cause it's gonna make it seem like I ain't play a part in what's going on.
But see, I think people avoid tough conversations.
Facts. That's facts.
I think that's really the true problem. People need to stop avoiding tough conversations, because within those tough conversations, you may hear some things that you don't want to hear, but it may be the exact thing that you need to take that next step. You know what I mean? To grow. Because as is right now, I'm 29. I'm not perfect. I know that.
Facts.
But because I'm every day I'm trying to become a better man. I'm trying to become, a better man, better father, better friend, better brother.
Right.
I surround myself with people that's going to help me become that. You know what I mean? The best version of myself. But in order for me to realize that, I had to have a lot of tough conversations. Now, whether that was with my partner, whether it was with my grandfather, or whether it was with you, I had them. But in relationships, it's important to have those tough conversations with your partner, because at the end of the day, that's the person you spend most of your time with for the most part.
Fact.
So,
for sure.
To you sit here and have it, or anybody has a bad situation, if I'm running to tell you to get all the emotions and all the problems that I wanted to tell my partner, I'm going to listen to you. I'm going to hear you out, but that's not going to do nothing. That's not.
It's not going to change the situation.
Right.
Yeah, no, you're going to have to talk to that person to really know where y'all going to stand, if you should move forward or not move forward.
Right.
Right.
But ultimately, you're going to have to decide that for yourself, because, like I said, if you feel like you're not being heard or your feelings are not being reciprocated, leave. No, you laughing, but I'm being serious. You have to leave, because you telling me, if you come back to me and had a conversation with and ask me what should I do, I'm not that person that you need to be talking to. I mean, I'm going to hear you out and give you my advice, but at the end of the day, that person in their mind has their own intentions for your relationship, or y'all relationship, I should say.
So,
and vice versa.
All right, hold on. So I got a question though. When it comes to relationships, do you believe that people are moving 100% off of strictly just their perspective? So what I mean, so like obviously, so me and you talk, right? Now you may tell, then that's the problem. People are like, oh, you don't listen, this and that.
Right.
You may tell me something, I may ask you for advice, you tell me something, that don't mean I'm gonna do it. You know what I'm saying? Because it's still gonna come down to what I really feel. Because there's times you told me the opposite, that I actually probably should have listened, but I did the opposite and did something that I shouldn't have to do. I mean, like in a positive way, thinking I'm actually going to make it work. Right. And the whole time, it really ain't do nothing. You know what I'm saying? Like, it just came off probably as more like being a sucker. I don't know what their perspective is on it. You know what I mean? So hold up. So I'm saying, at the end of the day, do you believe that in relationships, people are moving 100% both ways off of what they're saying? Or are they letting their friends influence them?
No,
social media influence them?
People are protecting their interests and their wants and their needs. So even when you say you seeking outside information, people gonna listen and take it in, but ultimately they really looking to hear something that validates how they're feeling or their thoughts.
To get facts, for sure.
So they can apply it. So for instance, if you ask me, this girl just did something crazy, but I kind of still want to be with her, what should I do?
Right.
You know me, I'm gonna keep it a buck with you. Or I'm gonna keep it a buck with anybody for that matter. I mean, when it comes to that situation. But you listening, but you really waiting for me. You may be waiting for me to say something that tells you to get back with her. When truth be told, I'm kind of telling you that you need to walk away, leave that situation alone. But because what I said didn't match up with what you wanted to do in your heart, you went back, you conflicted, and ultimately you go back to a situation where you should have, left in the past, or, left it at where it was.
Right.
But I think before you even start getting to outside influences, you have to be honest with yourself, because ultimately it's you that's going through that experience. And that's any experience in life. As our parents always would tell me, at the end of the day, I can tell you, I can give you advice and guide you, but you have to live your life for you. So you sit here and say, as you mentioned earlier, it's hard to walk away because you invested time or this and that. At the end of the day, what do we know happens when you stay in a relationship longer than you need to be? You just add unnecessary trauma, or that's what I believe, to your life.
That's right.
That you start to project, men and women start to project on social media and make it seem like all women are the same, all men are the same. And we know that's not the case.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
So, but that all came about because you stayed in a situation way too long. And you wasn't being able to, have that hard conversation. Like I said, you gotta have it with yourself, but you also, like I said, have it with your partner. Yo, babe, like I said, whatever you want to say, babe, I don't know what's going on. We ain't.
But I did that.
I mean, you did that, but a lot of people don't do that. I know a lot of men are scared to communicate with women. And just because you're able to do it, like I said, I know that's not everybody. I know how I move. A lot of people say that I'm an asshole, quite frankly. I'm too cutthroat. I say what it is, but at the end of the day, that's what it is. I'm gonna say what it is, but I never get disrespectful. So if I feel like you bullshitting, I'm gonna say, yo, bro, you bullshit. You wasting time. Right. If you don't like it, that's on you. But you're going to get, you're gonna get the raw version of what's going on with me. Everybody isn't like that. Everybody would rather be passive aggressive because it's easy. They think it's cool. Being passive aggressive is cool, easy. Let me act nonchalant. Let me act like I don't care when the whole time you care.
But that's the thing. You gotta be able to take. Yeah, the whole time you can. No, you're right. That's the thing. But you gotta be able to have tough skin and be able to take what you get for being. Because a lot of things that we do, and I ain't saying nobody else does it. We know a lot of other people do it. They don't portray it though. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I'm saying. So a lot of people may feel the same exact thing we're saying, but they're not portraying it. So if you tell me like, I'll tell my mom or whoever I may be dealing with something, and they gonna insult me in a certain sense where they like, you think you know it all.
Right.
You know what I mean? You think, and it's like, now you're trying to fight that bad. The whole time, you're really just telling them their opinion. They don't got to take it. They could take it, they could leave it. But now it's like on the flip, and now it turned into an argument. You know,
but that's my point. If you know in a relationship, when you're talking to your girl, for instance, like one of the hard conversations that I won't say I've had, but I know a lot of people had is, the weight in relationships. A lot of men don't like to tell women about their weight, or vice versa.
Right.
On the surface, it is a hard conversation to have because obviously you don't want to offend nobody. You don't know what they're going through. Now, obviously, if you're in a relationship with them, you should know. But don't nobody want to have a conversation. But at the end of the day, if you should be able to say, obviously, there's a certain way you should say it, but you should be able to say, "Hey, baby, you gaining, you putting on a little, you know what I mean, you look kind." So,
well, what I'm saying is right. You're right, but I'm saying I don't think that is the person that's saying it. That's really the scared party. So my thing about it is on the other end, I think people need to start being more receptive to shit. That's more so what it is. Because I'm telling you right now, everybody would say what they really felt if we thought we could say what we really felt. That's my point I'm trying to make. You know what I'm saying? But literally, if you tell somebody about their weight, especially if you're in a relationship with them, if you telling them about their weight, if you're still there, that means you want to be there. So clearly, even if it's a problem you having a conversation, it's because you're willing to help them change it. You're willing to put the work in with them, right. Whatever it may be. Absolutely. But for whatever reason, they're going to take it as you're attacking them. They don't need to do nothing for you. So it's like automatically, it's a perspective. Whole time, you literally will be the only person that's keeping it honest with them.
Right,
but because you're the only person keeping it honest with them, you the asshole. You, like you just said, you the asshole, you the weirdo. Right, you're the only person doing it.
Right, but God gave us one mouth and two ears for a reason. So our job is to, as much as we talk, we supposed to, listen. Right. So a conversation like this, is a back and forth thing. So at the end of the day, my job is to say what I'm going to say. If you're in a relationship, or if you're around anybody that you don't think has your best interests at heart, then you need to really do some self-evaluation. You know what I mean? Because I'm not going to surround myself with somebody that I know tough conversations need to be had. Everybody don't have discipline or, practice self-discipline to the point that they always going to do the right thing. That's not the case. That's not realistic.
Right.
Which is why you surround yourself with people that is going to keep it above with you. So any conversation like weight or whatever, if that's the person you saying you love, if they coming to you saying, babe, you need to tighten up, you need to start hitting the gym, and you get offended by that, is something really wrong with you. I think that's your insecurities coming out. Right, but I'm not worrying about your insecurities coming out. I'm telling you like I said, I'm going to tell you what I'm going to tell you. Is either you take it and run with it or you don't. But at the end of the day, we're not about to go no back and forth, or I'm about to bite my tongue, because what's going to happen, if I have to bite my tongue, I'm going to start living with some type of regret and some type of resentment, which if I let that continue to boil up and boil over, that's going to start leading to some type of infidelity and stuff like that. And we get into that.
Yeah, right.
So, but that's a whole nother problem in itself. But that, to go back to what I said, that's why you have to have these conversations.
Okay, so, and if you communicate, because like I told you, I've done that. Right. My thing is times I haven't communicated, it's times, for the most part, I'm always straightforward. But the problem is, not too many people is receptive to that.
Right,
go ahead.
Right, but people don't stand on what they say. I'm going to stand on what you need to be able to. Everybody can't do it, but you need to be able to stand on what you say as a man and as a woman. And if at the end of the day, you can stand on what you say, you're not going to live life with no regrets.
I don't. I can stand on everything I said. I'm saying I never leave a situation. I'm not talking about cutting off people. The people I ever dealt with, like everybody, like I said, people have wronged me. I still would have them in my life, because at the end of the day, we had this conversation just the other day. We live in so temporary. We don't know, like I said, I may be 45. I know some of my mom friends, other people, they ended up, they was living their best life. Out of nowhere, one of her friends got ALS. In 2 years, she lit her whole body debilitated. She didn't know probably at 25 or, at our age and shit like that would happen. And the whole time, the point I brought up is because everybody, I'm cutting this person off, I'm doing this and that. The whole time, the person you cutting off might be the person that really going to be by your bedside. Right, person taking care of you never really know. So I don't got the energy to be talking about cutting people off, this and that. You don't know who going to be the next this, who going to be the next that. I don't have that energy. You know what I'm saying? I don't walk around with that kind of perspective. I've been wrong. At the end of the day, I understand that we all got issues. You know what I'm saying? So that person might have wronged me because they got some shit they got to deal with. So it's not on me to be like, oh, that person is a lie. Yeah, well, I mean, if you're a liar, you're a liar. But I'm just saying.
Well, you don't do that, but it's people that do that. And that's the problem. Instead of, like I said, projecting it out there in the world or putting it out there in the world, say it to that person and just, like I said, communicate what you're saying and leave it at that. And ultimately, like I said, move on with life. Because everybody live, the things that you don't say eat you up, eat you alive.
I agree.
Or the things you don't do eat you alive. But, like I said, we can literally go back and forth on this. But I just think that for the most part, we need to be better, we need to be better at communicating with one another, man and woman. And if we can get that done and start, take the necessary steps to really listen, sit back, listen, comprehend what somebody is saying, I think a lot of our issues could get resolved.
But the word comprehend, aka understand. So that's what I'm saying. So on the other side of communication, we could talk all day. If you don't understand, like you said, the place I'm coming from, and understand that if I'm still here with you, and you my shorty, I've done everything for you, I'm loving you, it's whatever, like everything good, and I just tell you one little thing, that should not be no problem. That should be, my man is really, or my woman. Yeah, I mean, like I said, we're just talking from our perspective, but even on the flip side, my woman, like I said, it's a lot of things that I've been wrong and stuff, but there's also people in my life, even like I said, my last situation, she was thorough. You know what I'm saying? Not everything she's going to ever do is going to be thorough. I don't think that's going to be, that's what I'm saying. The reason why I don't sit there and like I said, I'm going to cut people off, do this and that, because at some point I'm going to expect understanding when I fuck up. Now, up to this point, I never done anything to really be hurtful. Can't nobody ever be like, yo, Farrakhan, it's weirdish. You know what I mean? Like, you can't really say that.
Right.
You know what I mean? So my thing about it is, at the end of the day, you have to be able to understand. So we can communicate all day. You got, like I said, anything you tell me, I know you literally telling me out of the, you know what I mean? Our situation never gonna be on the brink.
But like I said, you surrounded yourself with people that's going to keep it above with you.
Right. My cousin do the same thing.
Right.
He literally told me one day, like, yo, you need to check your ego.
Right, but that's what everybody needs to do. That's what everybody needs to do. Most people, and a lot of women that I come across, just only surround themselves with people that tell them what they want to hear. Right. And obviously, that's a problem. That's going to be a problem in a relationship because nobody's really telling you you're not perfect. So if you're only hearing things that supports the theory that you're perfect, then we already know that's a problem. Because at what point in time are you being honest with yourself?
So, how do you feel about the canceling culture / cutting everyone off in society today?
I think it's ridiculous. People always talking about cutting somebody off like you really think you're doing something or hurting somebody's feelings. We got to stop saying that. We got to stop doing that. That you cutting somebody off because of what? I mean, let's dive into that. 9 times out of 10, if you're saying you cut somebody off because they told you something about yourself. Did you ever sit back and think what they told you about yourself was true? Did you ever analyze it? Why they said it? What was the situation that led to them saying it? You know what I mean? Regardless of what it is. So I think it's kind of ridiculous because I use myself as an example. When people used to tell me about myself, I took it as, oh, they hate and they don't know what they're talking about. But then as I started to get older, I started to really sit back and think about it. I'm like, damn, if everybody's saying it, it gotta be true.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I don't want people to, view me in that way. So instead of me cutting them off, all right, listen, I didn't like how you said it. You could have said it to me better, but I understand where you're coming from. So I'm going to work on that. My bad if for making you feel however you feel. Because obviously, 9 times out of 10, people say that in the heat of an argument or a conversation and stuff like that. So, but I think people need to understand that. Realize who you're talking to, who you're having a conversation with. If it's somebody that you care about, you love, family member, understand that they're coming from a place of love. So they're not saying anything to hurt you. I mean, it is some people that do that, don't get me wrong. But you need to be able to identify that. If you can't, I really don't know what to say. Like I said, I just think we need to understand the advice that we're receiving or the person that we're having that conversation with and really just, like I said, take it in. You're supposed to surround yourself with people that care about you and have your best interests at heart. And you should be able to take their advice and, learn from it. Help you ultimately become a better person.
All right, so we touched about a lot of things today.
Right.
A lot of problems. So what are some things overall that you believe can help us get better relationships, better friendships, and better business relationships?
I think we need to be better at communicating with one another. Nobody reads minds. You know what I mean? The only way somebody knows what you're thinking, what you're going through in life, is if you communicate that.
Sure.
And it's big in any relationship. Mom and dad, boyfriend, girlfriend, cousin, any relationship. Communicating is key. So I think we need to be better communicators. I think people need to be accountable for their actions. You're not perfect. I'm not perfect. Nobody's perfect. Understand that everything affects everything. Everybody plays a part in the situation. So stop thinking that your actions was the best. You were, you kept it real all the time. That's not the case. Everybody plays a part in their own problem. Acknowledge that, be accountable for your actions, and move forward. I think if you do those two things, everything else will take care of itself. And ultimately, just invest in yourself. Take care of yourself. Get yourself together. You shouldn't be worrying about no relationships if you haven't gotten through your own problems or, healed. We have had a lot of trauma in our life. Everybody got their own story. Everybody, especially us in our culture, there has been a lot of trauma. We can take this back, years, our ancestors. So we all got our own trauma that we deal with, whether it's, a father being absent from the home, you losing your mom at a young age, anything. Deal with your own, heal, talk it out, see a seek therapy, talk to who you need to talk to. At the end of the day, just focus on yourself, get yourself together, then worry about being in a relationship and, move on from there. So yeah, what about you? What some solutions that you would think will ultimately help people to have healthier relationships moving forward in their life? Whether that's, friendships or intimate relationships.
I believe that we all should definitely look in the mirror.
Right.
Definitely understand that you say we got trauma, right? But understand that it's certain people, everybody really in our life for a reason. Right. So even though we saying heal, sometimes it may take somebody to come around and they may be the person to help you heal. Right. You know what I mean? You gotta understand that. So I think understanding seeking new information. 20 years ago, it wasn't no cell phones, it wasn't none of that. So it's 2022. Right. We can't move and think relationship is going to be the same as they were 30 years ago. It's just not. It's not. Yeah. So it's time to start, even from the traditional side of it. The cooking and cleaning, this and that. As a dude, you should be doing that. As a chick, you should be doing. To me, that ain't nothing. Right. You know what I'm saying? Because it's so much more out here. Yeah, that's just the base level. Right. At this point, that shit is the base level. So it's so many other things beyond that. Yeah. Like I said, start building families. A lot of people obviously want to purchase homes and stuff like that. So start building together. That's the key to making relationships what it is. It don't have to be, like I said, it don't have to be bad blood. Stop making everything trauma and drama. We're going to touch on that later on. But you know what I'm saying? So just make it exactly move forward, I guess I'm trying to say.
Yeah, so we can start healing together. It's not, we're a team. We need our sisters. Our sisters need us.
Need us, for sure.
But we can only do this together. If everybody for self, everybody being selfish, we're not going to get nowhere. It's just going to be the same stuff year in and year out. And social media has only made that worse. Mm-hmm. And it's not going to stop until we start looking in the mirror and understand what role we play in our own demise as people. So, look, I think we touched on a lot today.
Yeah, for sure.
It's definitely a good, good subject.
Yeah, so definitely like, subscribe, share this video, please.
Absolutely. Check us out on YouTube. Yep. Apple Podcasts. The IG page, Is There More?
Yeah, follow the IG page.
And make sure y'all comment below. Give us feedback. Give us subjects that y'all want us to touch on. Anything from this episode that you feel like we didn't touch on that we should have dived in. We want to hear all y'all feedback. We like that. We want to hear that. So until next time,
Till next time, we checking out, baby.
All right, man.